So Pope Francis made some really big news this week. He made a revision and edit to this document here, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is a collection of the Church's authoritative teachings. Now, what's significant about this is, in the past, there was a small window in which the death penalty could be supported by a Catholic. The Pope has said, no, that's not the case. In all cases, the death penalty is unacceptable. In my mind, this has sort of two major implications. The first would be there's a real opportunity now, I think, to use this as a teaching in churches in a pastoral way. So there's a pastoral and theological opportunity for Catholic clergy to really reach parishioners with a message that the death penalty is not pro-life. Now, conservative Catholics for years have really pointed to John Paul II as someone they've admired. The Pope is really building on John Paul II's teaching on the death penalty. This is called development of doctrine. So Pope Francis isn't just coming out of the blue and saying we're changing church teaching. This is what the theologians talk about when church teaching develops. Now, John Paul II even said, a murderer has dignity. And he talked about a culture of life and a culture of death. And he situated the death penalty within that culture of death. And so now Pope Francis has really elevated this issue to prominence in the church. So that's the pastoral theological opportunity. I think the political opportunity here is very interesting. So you've had Catholic politicians on the right for years sort of pat themselves on the back for being pro-life while supporting state executions. You've had Catholic judges, the late Anthony Scalia, talk about his support for the death penalty not being in opposition to church teaching. Again, because there was this wiggle room in church teaching where in some cases, exceptional cases where the public could not be protected, it was allowed. So that is gone now. It's also going to be interesting to watch whether this comes up in Judge Kavanaugh's hearings in the Senate coming up in the fall. That's going to be a very interesting question, whether any of the senators actually ask him, his position on the death penalty as it relates to church teaching. We also see right now Catholic governors, Governor Ricketts in Nebraska, supporting the death penalty despite what the church teaches. And he's even gone on the record in the past saying that his support for the death penalty is not in conflict with his church's teaching. He can't say that today. So the Catholic governors out there who do support the death penalty have to be comfortable with saying, I'm now against Orthodox church teaching. So to sum it up, I think we have a real pastoral and educational opportunity to reach Catholics in the pews. Most Catholics support the death penalty, and I think we have a lot of work to do on that. Groups like the Catholic Mobilizing Network are on that front already. And I think we need to continue to send this message that it's not pro-life to support the death penalty.